Very few people know that Russia is a country surrounded by terrorism on a very dangerous level, even within its own borders. Russia shares borders with 5 countries, mostly Muslim-majority nations: Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Kyrgyzstan. Despite being close to terror-prone regions like Afghanistan and Pakistan, you rarely hear of terrorist activities in these Central Asian countries. Why is that? The answer lies largely with Vladimir Putin. In 1991, there was no Russia as we know it today. It was part of the Soviet Union, a union of 15 to 16 countries. Russia was a dominant entity, covering 75% of the land. When the USSR collapsed, Vladimir Putin was an officer in the KGB, the Soviet intelligence and security agency. Putin, devastated by the fall of the USSR, left the KGB and moved to St. Petersburg, where he became the deputy mayor. This was a strategic post, especially given the chaos that followed the Soviet breakup. Putin started learning politics and building ties with oligarchs, ultra-rich businessmen who controlled banks, media, metals, and oil. The joke was, Russia is run by 7 bankers. These oligarchs began ruling the country with puppet politicians. Putin worked with them, learned the system, and positioned himself well. Post-USSR, internal conflict escalated. Several Muslim-majority regions within Russia, like Chechnya and Dagestan, became fertile ground for terrorism. Chechnya especially saw growing influence from Al-Qaeda and its top leader Ibn al-Khattab, a close associate of Osama bin Laden. As Chechnya slipped into chaos and launched deadly attacks on Russian forces, Putin moved to Moscow, gained favor with then-President Boris Yeltsin, and entered the inner political circle. Eventually, Yeltsin made Putin prime minister, with a plan for him to become president next. Chechen forces, backed by foreign jihadists from the Arab world, Afghanistan and Pakistan, even attacked Dagestan, aiming to take over all 6 Muslim-majority territories in Russia. Once in power, Putin gave the military full freedom and personally motivated soldiers by visiting command centers. Russian forces pushed Chechen fighters back into Chechnya and reclaimed Dagestan. After a series of devastating bomb blasts, including civilian apartment buildings in Moscow, Putin publicly declared a war on terror, famously saying, "If we find them in the bathroom, we'll kill them in the bathroom." He emphasized that forgiveness is God's job, but sending terrorists to God was his job. Using bombers and missile systems, Putin flattened Grozny, Chechnya's capital, once dubbed the most destroyed city on earth. After retaking the region, he appointed a pro-Russian local leader, gave Chechnya its own constitution, and ensured long-term control without forcing cultural assimilation. Putin stabilized surrounding countries, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Kyrgyzstan through CSTO, Collective Security Treaty, Organization, a NATO-like agreement. Any attack on them would be considered an attack on Russia. Russia also built military bases in these nations, preventing radical Islamic groups from taking root again. Putin then called a meeting with oligarchs, warning them, "Enjoy your wealth, but if you meddle in politics or media, I will destroy you." Those who opposed him either vanished or fled the country. Those who supported him became ultra-rich, like the former owner of Chelsea Football Club. There remains one unresolved controversy: the apartment bombings. After 4 blasts, a 5th bomb was found and defused in an apartment parking lot. The FSB, successor to the KGB, claimed it was part of a training exercise, raising suspicions. Some theorized the bombings may have been staged to justify the war in Chechnya and boost Putin's popularity. While there's little doubt the border blasts were real, the Moscow attacks remain a mystery. Whether or not Putin orchestrated events is debatable, but one thing is clear. Under Putin, Russia crushed terrorism at a scale that could have destabilized half of Eurasia. Today, even the Muslim-majority Central Asian nations are stable, secular, and tourist-friendly. Though terrorist attacks still occur, they are not on the scale once feared.